Just come to check on this pile of hedge. Lit it on fire yesterday and it has burned down. It is smouldering in places, but it hasn't burnt down quite as well as I was hoping. So we might have to try and light that again, because there's certainly a lot of stuff there that can still burn on it. But good afternoon everyone. It is an absolute perler today. It's nice and warm. There's a bit of a frost this morning. It was actually pretty white down here. Dad's actually up the top there feeding at a bale. I'm actually waiting on him because we're going to take the bale feeder off the tractor. I'm going to shoot down to Mike the Builders in a moment and pick something up off him, but I've got to take the tractor to do it. I just came to have a look at that heap. I was kind of hoping it, yeah, like I said, it burnt down more than that. I pushed it up last night before I went in because we'd lit it yesterday. The centre had burnt out, so I sort of folded the insides in, and I was hoping it was going to burn down because we actually need to take this away because that is going to be planted in maize along there this year, and the strip sprayers are going to come in about 10 days time, so we need to get rid of that before it does. In the meantime, I might as well fill up the Keenan, although I can hear Dad now, so he might be back. I need to take some more tyres off the top. I might have to do that later though. We'll go and take this bale feeder off now and head on down. Oh, leave that pin on the bale feeder.
What?
That whole setup can stay on the bale feeder.
What, this?
No, the pin on the ball.
You'll need these probably.
Shouldn't take me too long to get down to Mike's, maybe 15 minutes. He's not that far away. Isn't that nice with all the cherry trees? The gates are shut. I don't actually know how to get in now. Mike might not be home yet. He was going to town. Open sesame. Magic. No, he is home. He just rang me and told me the code. I think he's going to move his tractor now, because that's where I need to get in. Morning, Mike.
How we doing?
Good, good, good.
Excellent.
Oh, here it is.
Yeah, I'll just lift it and I'll pull it out, and then we'll just show you everything. And
Yeah, sweet as. That one, I think. Look at that, there's even a bit of grass seed in there. There's air even in the tyres.
need some more? Oh,
Nah, they look pretty good actually. Did you pump them up or?
no, I haven't pulled it out for a couple of years.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So we'll,
Oh, right, it's got a big ram on it. Jesus.
yeah.
Holy heck. Look at that.
Hook you on and make it happen. I'm going to back up.
Yeah. Do I need to...
You
I'll back up.
Yeah, and then we'll just see if I have to lift you slightly.
Yeah, might have to lift it a little bit, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's quite high, eh?
Yeah. That's right.
I'm going to pull forward a bit.
No, you're right there. I'll just come in and pick up. go the other way, and then we'll put the other things in. Push it right down. We have a chain.
Yep.
Put the chain on there, like that, and that sits in there. Or if you want it tighter, you do it the other way,
Oh yeah.
like that.
Which way do you usually do it?
Usually tight, but I mean, and away you go. Tend not to reverse in it though.
Oh yeah.
Only go forward. Right.
Looks alright, should make it home. There's the school I went to when I was little. So did my father, grandfather, and Willie's going there next year. He's starting in February. And when my family moved to Paddock 150 years ago, my great-great-grandfather, he bought this farm in here. This was the original home farm, which my cousin still owns today. He has a share milker on there, but it's a nice farm in there. There's Finch's entrance, and they've got their sign up for the cow sale. They have one every year. It's an in-milk sale, so the cows are giving milk when they sell them, and I think it's in September. I didn't actually have a look at the date on the way past, but it's a pretty cool concept that they do. So what Darcy does is he buys empty cows in about April and May. He buys them, then he milks them through the winter because there's a premium for winter milk if you've got the quota, and he does. And then come September, he sells them on for people that need a top up. But he only buys like good cows, so the cows have got to be in the top 10% BW wise, and their production worth's got to be better than their breeding worth. So they are good cows, and he can sort of, well, the reason he does that is because come October he's put, I'm not sure how much of their farm, it's probably more than half of their farm into maize, which then they on sale later on the season. So yeah, it is a cool concept that works for them. They have got the contracting business, so yeah, it's sort of pretty handy. But this got back all right. That tyre over there, like, it's a little bit flat, so I might need to put a little bit of air in that one. But other than that, it's sweet as. Oh, actually, maybe look, that tube's sort of perished a little bit, so that might need replacing. Oh, actually, something's wrong with that box. The box might have broken, but there is a spare one of those. And having a little look before, might just have to work out something and just go with it. But this is the here, so it was 8T or 6T, so that is 6 tooth drive wheel, which it is 8 tooth, sorry, and this is in pounds per acre, so I think about 19.5 pounds might be at a roughly 20 kilos to the hectare. So setting number 6, which Mike, I think he had it about there for, he was doing like 25-30, so maybe the settings aren't quite right, but I don't know, we'll just stick with something and go with it. The whole reason I've gone and picked this up from Mike though is because I'm going to do some regrassing, and it's the areas which have just been waterlogged for so long, nothing's going to grow through them for the summer, and there's not a lot of money around at the moment because of the payout. The payout's dropped, so we're all trying to cut costs where we can. So Mike was around on the weekend and I asked if we could borrow his drill, and he said, sweet as, take it. Bring it back one day, just whenever. There's no time limit on it, and he kindly said to just, yeah, he doesn't want to charge us for it. He just said, yeah, go and use it, but we will sort him out for something because it is pretty good of him. So it's here now. I'm probably not going to do any today. It's sort of just running out of time, but I might try and get it in the ground tomorrow. The only condition was it had to live in a shed, which is perfect because this bay is free now, but I might need to try and find some more of these boot looking things. How hard do you reckon those are to source? There's a few that are sort of broken. I've replaced one here. It might just take a little bit to maybe just go over. It's a pretty simple system really. Like, there's a few that are broken, but it'll probably still work. The seed just falls pretty much just straight down here through these tubes, and you just lower this up and down, and that's why they're sort of rubber, so it just falls down the tubes there into into the slot that the discs made. So I'm sure they can get them in from somewhere. So that was originally the fert bin, and that's obviously the seed. Obviously it's probably not going to do quite as good a job as these big flash new fancy drills that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, but I think it's going to work just fine for what I want to do with it. This is a pretty good example of the areas that I'm going to undersow or drill over. Is pretty much straight through here. There's a big chunk, it goes all the way this paddock, the next one, and up that way. There's probably about 4 hectares maybe. But I didn't graze this paddock probably, well, the last grazing was in the winter, and you can see there's not much grass there now, so it hasn't regrown. It's not too bad up sort of that side of the paddock, it's just mainly through here. So what I'm thinking is I'll come in, undersow it, and hopefully we're going to grow more grass in here than we're probably going to. Like, if we just leave it bare like this, it's just going to grow weeds. The same for this one. It's not too bad. Like, there's a bit of grass there, but it sort of stops somewhere through here because this end gets quite wet. It's next to the drain, and I can run a fence just straight through there, cut this paddock off. I can still use the front of it, but I might as well just drill this back bit and see if I can get some more pasture production out of there, because it's not really going to grow much as of. You can see it's pretty yellow looking. I'm in the very corner paddock now. There's a drain either side, and then that's Calvin's the neighbour over there, Calvin and Rita. And this is probably the worst paddock we have, and one of the main reasons I wanted to undersow it, because there's pretty much just going to grow nothing in here. Like, you can see behind me, it is just pretty much that dull yellow colour. The heifers were down here in the winter, and they did make a little bit of a mess. Look at this, the willow weed's starting to come through. That almost needs spraying before we drill it all. This is just going to overtake it. And it's good to get it while it's that young, but it's just really, really bad, and there's not much going to grow here. Like, look at that. Nothing's going to grow in an area. It's getting quite hard on top now. This paddock's actually probably alright now. Like, there's a couple of wet spots. There's sort of like a wet spot in the middle here, something like this. You know, it's pretty muddy, but I could probably drill through it. Maybe. It's alright. So I could probably get the majority of this paddock done. I'd like to tackle this one first, but you can see it just gets so wet in the middle there. Like, nothing's going to grow, and it hasn't been regrassed, I don't know, probably forever down here. But it's the same. The next paddock, the bulls are actually over there. They're having a bit of a graze. That gets really wet. I can't get the tractor in there at the moment. Probably could do, well, it gets a little bit wet in there too, but this one and then 2 paddocks over, I can probably drill that. There's probably here, I don't know, 2-3 hectares here maybe. And the seed, what I'm going to put in is mohaka. I was speaking to Mush in the weekend, caught up with him. He's one of my mates who's an agronomist, and he said, like, it's a good 3 to 5 year grass, and if you get another extra sort of 6 tonne off it by drilling it, it saves having to buy 6 tonne of PK, and to drill it, the seed costs $400 a bag to do 1 hectare, and compared to PK it's $400 a tonne. So I can grow sort of 5 to 6 times as much for the same price. Why not? Grass is the cheapest form of feed at the moment, and I can't actually get the big gear down here, so this is the only race into this paddock. And the big tractors can't get in here because they can't get down the end there. Well, I'm hoping I can get down here with that drill. I should be able to. But I think that's probably the best bet. Just put it in a short-term grass. If it does flood out again and it gets really wet and it doesn't survive, well, some of it might die and some of it might not. But I can always come back at a later date and drill it another time. But it's just trying to get production out of these paddocks that aren't going to give us much. So look at this. This is where the heifers pugged it real bad, and there's just nothing going to grow here. Full stop. It's getting real hard on top. All that would grow here is weeds. So that machine of Mike's will be perfect for what I want to do. Clouded over and a little bit dark now, but you can sort of see down there, like, it's just that real yellowy looking sort of horrible colour. I also kind of wanted to do a little bit of that paddock through there. Like, these potentially could get done just in the bottom here. That's where I was saying it's real wet, from all the way up there down, and that's where I was standing before. So yeah, there's probably a lot I can do. But if I just start with the worst couple now and sort of see how that goes, I mean, it's pretty unusual for us to be putting grass seed in the ground in the spring. Usually it's an autumn job, but like I said before, we might as well try and do something. This is actually probably the worst paddock in here for how wet it was. Like you can see behind me, it's seriously wet. All that it's doing is pretty much just growing weeds now. This paddock got baled actually last November. So I actually took a cut of silage off here. I think it was November, December. And then ever since then, it's just been so wet, I haven't even been able to graze it. I sort of wrote this paddock off last season. I didn't get it here in the winter. I did graze it with some dry cows probably 6 weeks ago, or a month ago maybe. But other than that, it's not too bad by the fence line over there, but up here next to this drain, that's why we had to get the digger in a while back to clean the drain, because what was happening is the water was pretty much coming down from the top there and just flowing straight into this paddock, and it was just like a lake. So the drain's dropped probably about a metre, which has helped draining this paddock, and it does need drilling, so I'll probably put this one in that mohaka as well. But I mean, it probably needs a couple more weeks just to dry out, because I can't even drive in here in the tractor. Probably should really spray it as well before we drill something. Maybe just round up this, because yeah, I don't know, it's all just sort of swampy grass, and it's going to be willow weed, a lot of willow weed. It was actually a nice grass paddock up until last season. Hard to believe though. But the whole point is though, I need to do something, because I just can't leave them the way they are now. And I did think about broadcasting seed on with fertilizer and just putting the cows in there to walk around and sort of, they call it hoof and tooth, but I might get a better result with a drill, and Mike had one, so pretty lucky there. It's called a Conochet. I was having a look before. They are Australian built, so now I need to go and see if I can find some of those boots. I can probably make by with what I've got, but it would be kind of nice to replace them since he's letting us use it for free. But that'll pretty much do it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up like always, and I'll see you next time. Hopefully it won't be too far away until we get the drill in the ground.